Well, we learned this week the Biden administration is prepared to go door to door to get Americans vaccinated against COVID-19. And I got to tell you, it sounds like a daunting task. That would see a surge in federal workers descending, let's be honest, mostly on southern states. And I'm not sure what they'll say or even do once they ring that front doorbell. But it feels like this is going to really become something that can, I don't know, I just don't think it's going to work out. I want to bring in Walser Wealth Management, Rebecca Walser, on this. And, you know, Rebecca, listen, we've seen nations from Australia, Bangladesh, South Africa, Germany, Spain, Russia. The list goes on and on. They're bringing back restrictions, all, of course, to arrest this sort of alarming rates of infections. Although there have been no corresponding spikes in hospitalizations and deaths, you know, listen, that's fine, but what would you like to see from our government with respect to where the Delta variant is right now?
Well, Charles, I think this is a byproduct of the insanity that was the shutdown in the first place. For the first time in the history of the world, we quarantine healthy people. That's not something that we've ever done before. And we can look at data now. So I will caution anybody who starts to think they're going to come to America and say there's going to be a shutdown again. Let's look at the data. We have data. We have states that shut down, California, New York, and we have states that stayed open for the most part after a very brief amount of time of being shut down, Texas and Florida. And we did not see a substantial increase of case counts or deaths, which are the two metrics that we would want to justify an economic shutdown of this magnitude. So we're just way too smart this time around to fall for the government's we need to shut down. It's not going to happen.
All right, well, I got to tell you, I'm not as confident as you, because one of the things that also bothers me is, we all know how destructive COVID-19 has been. It's touched everyone's lives in some really devastating ways. But more recently, the media has been laying it on thick. Headlines seem to suggest that the Delta variant is now a major contributor to overall deaths. There are also headlines that suggest we should bring back masks. So you've got the media pushing a narrative that would help the government if they do indeed want to sort of get more restrictive.
You know, I have a problem with that, Charles, because if we look at the flu every year, we have multiple strands of the flu every single year of influenza, but we have one flu shot. And if it doesn't, affect the strand that maybe you came down with, that's just the way it goes. You get the flu. I'm not suggesting at all that I want anyone to get the Delta plus, or California's new Epsilon. But what I am suggesting is there are going to be a lot of variants, and we cannot wait to develop a vaccine for every single variant of a coronavirus that is this, migratory and changing. So we need to accept the fact that there might be some level of risk. And this is where we need to go back into that data, Charles, which we now have, and look at, okay, what are the ages that are actually at risk? And the ones that are at risk, we need to maybe keep those people safe and outside of the mainstream. Right. But everybody else needs to go on with their life, and our economy needs to go on as well.
Let me ask you about the initial jobless claims this morning. They're not going down anymore, right? In fact, they aren't making a demonstrative move in states that even stop federal benefits. Some of them have worked out, but I mean, we saw increases in Idaho, Mississippi, Nebraska had a huge jump. I think we're in the midst of a workers' strike. And my big fear, Rebecca, is that it's going to backfire, that it's great to hold out all day long. I'm seeing signs all day of these big corporations offering bonuses, referrals, all kinds of stuff. But I think if you wait too long and you push too hard, you may find out that a robot got your job. Just your thoughts on this, because I know you have very strong opinions about this.
Well, AI is coming and AI is the future. But when I want to say to those workers that are not voting with their feet to go into a job, that are staying home to get paid to do nothing when they really could be working, is ask yourself this question. Is this all I'm worth? Because once you start accepting the government paying you to do nothing, that's pretty much where you're going to get for the rest of your life. The government wants to give you just enough to stay dependent, but not enough to really become wealthy. And so I disagree, and people really need to ask themselves, is this really all I'm worth? Is this what the government can buy me for? Just this little bit of money every month? Or do I need to get back out into the workforce, improve my life, and make my own destiny? These people really need to think about what they're doing.
I wish I had a tambourine. I would have been playing it the whole time you were talking. Rebecca, thank you very much. We'll talk to you again real soon. All right, next, Mark.